Hi everyone, my name is Rachel Reynolds. I am the owner of Bird's Eye Visual Merchandising. I specifically help independent garden centers and the passionate employees who work at them improve their merchandising skills. So today I want to talk about a skill that I think many passionate employees and merchandisers are actually missing. And it's this ability to create cohesion out of chaos. That's the number one skill I think produces effective displays is your ability to take in all of this information about products that you have and still create like a simple output that moves your product. So you already know this, but we have a lot of plants at our shops, especially during springtime. It just seems impossible the amount of plants that are coming in, right? And the quantity and the variety can be overwhelming. So if it's overwhelming for you, imagine how the customer feels, right? Who may not know as much, who likely does not know as much about plants as we do. So think about how it feels to be them and come into your store and not really have an idea of what to buy. You can help them figure out what to buy by interacting with them, yes, but by crafting your displays in a way that makes their decision really easy and fun, and they're actually inspired by interacting with them. So take in all of this information about all the products that you have, not just what's coming in too, what you already have in your store and that has been there maybe for weeks and it just hasn't moved, right? Take all of that information and pull it through and have a single output, okay? So, I love a blank slate. Now, this doesn't look like a blank slate because I need to sweep it, I need to clear everything away, but that's generally where I want to start, right? Is a blank slate. Like if I need to completely redo something, like we're not zhuzhing, which is just kind of like fixing up a little bit and kind of revamping, we're completely redoing everything. I want it completely clear, okay? Even if I'm going to add in some of the things that are currently there, I want it completely clear. So the first thing I did in this situation, this was a heap of clutter basically, and I took it all away and I was left with like the furniture and just a few random things, and there's my water bottle sitting in the table. So my first step was to just clear all of this away and sweep it, and you can actually see in the background those orchids hanging. That's where I went next. But the first thing I'd suggest doing before starting on your display, if you don't have an idea yet, if you do, that's great. But if you don't, is to do what I call the inspo lap. That's where you're just gonna walk the whole store. Walk the whole store, walk it twice if you need to. And look at everything coming in. Look at everything that you have, look at all of your pottery, check the back stock areas, check your random corners. There might be a random piece of furniture or a box that will, kind of spark your inspiration and direct you where to go. So when you have all this stuff, you need to know what you have, right? So do the inspo lap first. That's always my go-to when I'm like, okay, I'm ready to make something, but I need to get my bearings and figure out what's the actual theme of my display, right? So one thing too you can ask yourself to narrow this down is, what do I want to see gone the most? What items are highly perishable and need to sell quickly? Like this orchid, for example, the Vanda orchids, the ones that hang, any orchids really. I want those gone immediately. I want them in the right homes immediately, because once they stop blooming, they are harder to push and you might have to mark them down, whatever. So things like that do not sell well if they are not featured, I find. Or let's say they sell better faster when we feature them. And then again too, like what items are hidden gems that are not being featured that someone probably would buy as if their attention was drawn to it, right? So think about those things. Those are questions you can ask yourself to help direct you into what exactly do I want to display. And then think of 3 words. Like as you're building, once you have your kind of item that you want to see gone the most, which in this case was these Vanda orchids, that was kind of my starting point. I was like, I have to sell these orchids. They were just hanging on that shelf above kind of like a tray of succulents. And I'm like, these need to be featured, right? So my words that I was using to describe this particular display, I started with orchids, and then I'm noticing that they're kind of jewel tones. So now I'm pulling in jewel tone pottery, the lime green, pothos and the dracaenas. And then I'm like, oh, I love, the bromeliads. They're kind of in the same like theme or family as orchids, epiphytes, sort of tropical, like, As long as you have a couple words, like it doesn't have to be like a specific theme, just throw out a couple of words to help you, guide you, and then make sure that every item in the display kind of fits into that context. And then cross merchandise with soil and fertilizer. That's a step that I think really is kind of one of the cherries on top. And it also is like people actually need these products to help their plants thrive. So I also had, because I wanted to include that orchid bark, but I was like, you don't really need it for the Vandas. So I was able to pull in, I don't know if you can see here, some other types of orchids that were not blooming. And I was like, okay, maybe I can push these because they've just been sitting there. So I'm taking the item that can draw their attention, the Vanda orchids, and then I'm like building on that theme by pulling in these orchids that are not blooming. So now I have the soil and fertilizer, so they have everything they need. But another thing when you're including soil and fertilizer is to make the decision very frictionless. Someone said recently, and I loved this, was like, imagine a mom with a crying baby is trying to make a decision. She doesn't want to see 3 different types of orchid fertilizers in a display because that's going to make her think, well, which one? Which one do I buy? I don't want them to ask which one, okay? If they really want to know which one, they can go to our fertilizer area where all of our fertilizer products are reflected, and then she can compare them. But oftentimes, people don't want to do that, especially if you're just selling a story in a moment and they didn't really come in for that. Just make it really easy. So just put like one type of fertilizer, one type of soil. That way their decision can be made in seconds. So frictionless. I want frictionless decisions being made. That's how we get people to add these items to their cart. Once they have to pause and think and there's an internal confliction of like which one, that's when we lose the sale, okay? And then signage. Signage is a great tool, especially when something has specific care tips or care instructions, or you want to really highlight the features and benefits, pollinator plants, host plants, right? So you can use signage as a tool to further clarify those care tips and equip your customers with the knowledge that they need. Venus flytraps, like, oh yeah, I forgot I did a little carnivorous moment on the back side of the display. So those have very specific care instructions. If you water those with tap water, for example, they'll die. I don't want that to happen to someone who buys this. So the sign will clarify that information for them. So including signage can be a great way to move your product. It's like displays and signage are your silent salespeople, right? And people can take a picture of the sign, right? It's a very useful tool. Okay, so that being said, I would love to see what you come up with if you try this technique yourself. Really focus on clearing an area completely. Like take a display that's just been, kind of stagnant, right? And just wipe it away entirely and create a whole new display. Here's just a guide, right? Houseplants, pottery, fertilizer. Try combining those 3 things, making a display, think of your 3 words, do your inspo lap. Follow this set of steps, and I'd love to see how that comes out for you. And you can share it with me. There's my email, rachel@birdseyeVM.com. This exact subject matter is something that I dive way deep into in Displaying Confidence. And this is an online course, but it's also community oriented. So it's held on a platform where you can post your display photos. You can see what other merchandisers in the industry are doing. I give you access to my photo archive of hundreds of display photos from my career when I did this for 3 years straight. And it's a great way to get inspiration, get the actual action steps that can lead you to these profitable displays and profitable outcomes that actually inspire people and move product. Here's just a couple of the modules that we'll go through. So I've got, the basics, right? Color theory, furniture, how to create these large displays, how to create pottery displays. I know pottery is a big one for people. Small scale storytelling, kind of like this orchid situation, creating end caps. Like we just go into absolutely everything that you need to know. And I host live calls on the platform. I would love to have you on there. If you're interested, you can head to my website, birdseyevm.com, and click on the Displaying Confidence tab for more information. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much, and please share your displays with me via email or join Displaying Confidence and you can share them there.